Hey guys, it's your girl T, and I'm here with my recap for the third episode of Preachers of LA. You guys have been waiting for the recap, so here it is. So in the first scene, we see where Pastor Jay, the white pastor, him and his wife, they're talking, and basically his wife was invited to go to a tea party and go meet with the other women. And she seems kind of nervous because she feels like she doesn't really have any true friends, because most people are either scared to get close to her because she's a pastor's wife, or they have ulterior motives. So, Jay's trying to encourage her to go meet the other women. So while they're in the park walking, this woman, comes out of nowhere, and basically just from the looks of her, you can tell she's suffering from anorexia, bulimia. She's gone through a lot of stuff. So Jay stops talking to his wife, and he walks up to her and he starts ministering this woman. And he's like, I can just tell you're hurting. I can tell that you're going through a lot. Is there anything wrong with you? Well, the woman then turns around and says, yes, I'm having really bad anxiety and I can't sleep at night. And I'm looking at this woman like, really? That's all that's wrong with you? She's nothing but skin and bones. You can tell the woman is suffering from anorexia. It's such a sad sight. I mean, she's literally 50 pounds soaking wet. And she's talking about how she's suffering from anxiety. But Pastor Jay knows that, it's more to it than that, because you can clearly look at her and tell that she's sick. So he starts praying with her, and he starts talking to her, and just starts ministering her. And I just really, really respect him. It seems like he's really there to really reach out to people, no matter what their situation is. He can look at people and just tell that something's troubling them. Even though with this woman, it was kind of obvious that there was something troubling her. But I really like the way he approached it, and he went about trying to help her. So in the next thing, you see Pastor Bishop Gibson, and he's basically back in the hood, rolling through Compton. He goes to go get Rick Dog and another gangbanger, and he wants to get them dressed up. He wants them to get new shoes and look nice for when they come back to church. So he takes them to this store, and they go shopping, and he's teaching them how to walk with confidence and how not to walk like a gangbanger and how to walk with their head held high. And I thought that was really cool. It seems like he's really trying to help these guys, and he's really trying to show them a different light, because as you guys know, if you've been around any OGs or anybody who was like, the big man on campus, or who was like an old time gangbanger, a lot of them are really living sad lives. A lot of them are still stuck in like the 70s and the 80s, and all they do is sit and talk about their shoulda, woulda, couldas. So I just like the fact that he's going back and he's trying to help these guys, and he's trying to, talk to them like, yo, dude, you're old now. You're like in your 50s. Let's stop with the gangbanging. Let's stop with the OG stories. Let's start fresh. Come to church. Let's clean you up. Let's do something to help you, so that way you can go back and really be an OG by inspiring these other gangbangers to do the right thing. So I respect Pastor Gibson for doing that. So in the next scene, we have Bishop Wayne Chaney. His wife Myesha decides to throw a tea party. The funny thing is, she decides to invite Loretta, who is Bishop Noel Jones's girlfriend, mistress, jump off, whatever you want to call her. They end up inviting her to the tea party. What's funny is that they don't invite Pastor McLendon's wife to the tea party. So she was a no-show. So anyways, they're all there. They all have on their fancy hats and everything else. And Dominique, Dietrich Haddon's baby mother, fiance, she comes in with her friend, and they're not wearing a hat. So they're all sitting there talking, and then Lavette basically starts calling out Loretta, like, you've been with this man for 16 years. I wouldn't wait any longer. It shouldn't take that long for him to put a ring on it. And Loretta gets defensive. Loretta's like, who told you I want to be his wife? Who told you I want to be married to him? What we have going on is our own situation. And you can tell Lavette is just really uncomfortable with that, and she's not liking that at all. So they end up switching the subject over to Dominique, which is Dietrich Haddon's girl. And so Dominique, to me, I don't know if I'm really feeling her too much on this show. She almost seems like, she just comes off really, really strange with some of the things she says. I sometimes get a vibe that she just wants to be a star or a celebrity. She tends to say that Dietrich Haddon is a superstar a lot, and, he's famous and all this other stuff. And she had a conversation with her mom earlier in the episode, and basically she wants her mom to watch her daughter, and she says she's tired of feeling like a single mother, and it's not fair that her and Bishop can't, shack up and live together, and that if he wasn't Dietrich Haddon, nobody would care. Her mom's telling her, you can't do that. You're part of the church. We can't have y'all shacking up. And she's really, really mad. But they have another 2 months left before their marriage. So when she goes to talk to Dietrich about it, Dietrich says, well, fine, let's elope. We don't need to have a fancy wedding. I've had 2. This will be my second wedding. We can just go get married. And it's like that whole idea of them just running off and eloping just turns her off. But then you're also complaining that you feel like a single mother. So I feel like she wanted a wedding for a show and to look good and, for it to be part of the storyline. So anyways, back to the tea party. So Lavette asked, Dominique about them shacking up. And, how come that they didn't get married first? And this one basically says, well, we had, we fornicated, we had sex, so basically we're married. I'm looking at her like a dumbass chick. Are you for real? So you think because you had sex with somebody, that equates you being married? If that's the case, you would be married to everybody that you slept with in your entire life. And some of these ratchet women out here will be married to everybody and their mama, male, female, and whatever else. Just because you have sex with somebody does not mean that you're married. And I was so happy when Lavette set her straight, like, no, that doesn't make you married. That means you're fornicating. So I don't know. Dominique just kind of rubbed me the wrong way this episode. She just comes off as just way too ditzy. She tries to act, like she's just young and naive. You're old enough. You know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You're not 18, 19. You're a grown woman. You knew what you was doing when you was getting in a relationship with him. You knew what you was doing when you allowed yourself to get pregnant. And, so now you're in this situation. You feel some type of way because everybody's judging it. So I don't know, but the tea party ended up going okay. And from everything I saw, Jay's wife ended up making friends with Myesha, and they went like on a little shopping expedition, and they got to know each other a little bit more. So it looks like they're going to be friends when all is said and done. So the episode ends with Dietrich Haddon and Dominique basically making wedding plans. So we'll see what happens in episode 4. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts of this week's episode of Preachers of LA. All right, deuces.